your job is to serve in the best interest of the person that, for whom you've been appointed as the guardian, and that's a different hat. You're not wearing your lawyer hat, you're wearing your GAL hat. Yes?
I had a question earlier about when we were talking, clients that kind of disappear. There are a lot of instances where the court looks to you and says, I want you to say something. So sometimes when I have had a client at the very beginning say, I want this kid with X, Y, and Z person, sometimes when the court specifically says, I want you to state a position, sometimes what I'll say is, Your Honor, all I can state is the last time I spoke with my client, this is what they indicated. Like, is that appropriate?
Yes, so the question is, if you haven't been in contact for a while and the court insists on you taking a position on behalf of the client, can you say the last time I spoke with the client, this was my client's position? I think that ethically you are permitted to do that. You may have some jeopardy if, again, my only concern is if you don't have reason to believe that that is the absolute clear position of the client, you could face a problem later. But as long as you have it documented and you know in reasonable good faith that that's the client's position, I don't think you can be ethically criticized for responding to the court in that way. Yes?
Following up on that question, that's an issue we discuss amongst ourselves frequently. The part that I take issue with is the last part of that statement, or the first part. I spoke to the client a year ago. Haven't you just said something rather negative about the client? Indeed you have. That's what the feedback from the court is all the time. Oh, your client who doesn't bother to come to court, who doesn't bother to stay in touch with you, has a position. You have just undermined your client. So you don't want to be saying, I think, because of your zealous obligation to do no harm, you don't want to be saying that at all.
Well, that's why.
I know what
that's
I
why.
say.
That's why.
What timeline?
Right.
I just say the last time.
That's why what I said before is you need to balance. You can't say something which is going to put your client in a negative light, and your duty is to refrain from doing that. So you wouldn't say, well, Your Honor, it's been a year, and I can't talk to this client, but the last time I spoke with him, he said X, Y, and Z. Don't volunteer that. If you have to volunteer it, if you know it's going to be an issue, either because it's now a problem and you know that you can't competently represent the client because the client's been gone for a year, and or you don't know what the client's current position on this issue is, then you have a duty to say to the court, Your Honor, I am going to have to file, I'm sorry, I can't answer the court's question because I don't have that information. I cannot accurately respond today, and I want to put the court on notice that I'm going to be filing a motion to be relieved as counsel. Yes?
Must the motion be written, or could it be an oral motion?
Usually the court's not going to allow you to make that motion orally because you have to give notice to the client at least at their last known address, or if you don't have one, you might have to publish notice. So you can put the court on notice that you're going to have to file, and you will be filing a motion, but it's going to have to be a written motion. I think we're about at the end of our time, so I'll stick around for a couple minutes if anybody has a couple more questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Evaluation,